The stuff I saw at the cinema, I do want to talk about Room 237 again. I know the audience is rolling their eyes right now because we've talked about it so much, but I just saw it and I saw it with The Shining, so I feel like I have a little bit of a different perspective on it. Room 237 is the film
about the conspiracy theories that are in?
The conspiracy theories about The Shining.
Yeah.
We saw this at Chicago Bay, almost a year ago now. And I fell in love with sort of the style of the film, just the way this guy kind of illustrates the concepts that people are doing, just the way he went about it. I loved that aspect of it. At the time, I thought the theories were kind of crazy and that sort of thing. I still think the theories are all absolutely crazy. They added sort of seeing it a second time and seeing The Shining the next day sort of added another level of crazy to the stuff because all of those theories are wrong. I have my own theory about what The Shining's about. It's all about cryogenics, Jason. See, you freeze your father at the end of the film and then everything's better.
Gotcha.
That's what it's about. And I can watch the film and come up with massive amounts of proof to support that theory, which is basically what these people do in this documentary. Which
can you support the Minotaur ski poster concept in your cryogenic?
Yes. Let's see here. Well, the Minotaur is central to the maze concept, and so and it's in a cold place, so you freeze the Minotaur, which is also your father, and of course that just makes total sense. I don't need to go any further, Jason.
Perfect. Maybe they can sort of plug you into the movie somehow, like when they sort of release like a special edition of it.
But I mean, the film itself is Room 237 is just fascinating, and it's out in theaters right now. So if it's around, you should take a look at it because it's really sort of a treatise on how far people will take their own little pet theories. Because people say like crazy things like freeze frame on this frame, and you'll see this amazing thing, and the guy does it. And he freeze frames right there, and there's nothing there. Like, not a thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
But he doesn't say that it is or isn't there. He just, like, puts it there, and it just lets it sit there for a couple of minutes.
That's the genius behind this filmmaker. That's the genius behind this filmmaker, that he was not like, look at how dumb these people are. He's just like, this is what the theory they have, and here's what it looks like. You guys.
Every theory lives and breathes, which is really nice.
Yeah. But again, I think we've said this before. If you come out of that movie thinking, "Oh wow, finally someone understands my vision of The Shining," you're probably taking it a little too far. But it does. I mean, what it does really well is it gives you a really interesting sense of how deep The Shining is, and there's a lot of really interesting aspects of it that somebody might be saying something that makes total sense to them, but it gives you a better idea of something you might have missed in The Shining, just to look at it closer and sort of think about it in a different way. I mean, it gave me all sorts of new insights into, just different aspects of The Shining, even though I don't believe that Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing and The Shining is his confession. I was still able to look at different things about, like, when they roll the ball at Danny's playing in the area, and there's like the sort of patterned carpet, and he's playing with his trucks, and a ball rolls at him, and then he sort of looks up and stands up. The carpet's reversed. So like they roll the ball at him, and there's like a path to go into there, and then he's turned. Then the pattern shifts.
There's no path on
so
the way
now
out.
he's trapped in that little space. Like that's a little subtle thing that clearly they did on purpose. I don't think it means the things that they said it meant, but.
Kubrick does. He tends to reward really deep investigation. He has put so much into it. Every detail is really figured out and does have some meaning. But you're right. I mean, you can always, if you're not grounded somewhere, you can take it to mean about anything.
Yeah. And they do.
It's kind of nice that when the filmmaker you can see yourself in it. There's a quality.
That's the other thing about it. So many of those people were like, I investigate the Holocaust for a living. And this movie's all about the Holocaust. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, I investigate Native American culture for a living. This film is all about Native American culture. It's like, I think you might be letting your own biases get in there a little bit. But I really like it. Room 237, if you happen to see it, it's out in theaters now with the best disclaimer. I don't think the disclaimer was on the front of the film we saw at Chicago. They had this disclaimer on the front that's like, 100 words long, and it stays on the screen for like 2 minutes.
Is it all about Warner Brothers?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
it's like
it wasn't in front of.
Yeah, it's like no one in this film has any association with Warner Brothers. No one is associated with the Kubrick estate. It just goes on and on and on, and it stays on the screen forever. I thought the projector broke for a minute.
Is there music behind it?
No, it's just stark. It's just there, and it's like, whoa. But
well, they
anyways.
were probably allowing enough time for people to start up their camera recorders so that when it goes on BitTorrent, then they can, not get away from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we also saw The Shining at the cinema. John played The Shining along with it. And I think if you're going to see them both, I think, assuming you've seen The Shining before, I think Room 237 first, The Shining second is the way to go. Because I was able to sort of watch The Shining and enjoy it as the film, but I was also able to like look at the little details that they brought up. Love The Shining. I mean, I don't think I always loved it. Didn't always appreciate it because, the first time I saw it, I had read the book, and it's not really that much like the book. I mean, it's sort of in the same vein, but not really. But now I can appreciate it a lot more.
So what other Kubrick movies do you don't like? Because we just need to add those to the cinema schedule, and then you'll come to sort of appreciate.
Well, I think I appreciate all of his films, but if I'm going to sit down and watch a movie, but of course I keep saying I don't like 2001, but I keep watching 2001.
And you said you actually enjoyed the experience at the cinema.
I did. I enjoyed the experience. I still didn't enjoy the actual, story.
You can't say that about a lot of movies.
Exactly. Exactly.
A lot of movies are just like, I will never watch that movie ever again.
Exactly.
Whereas you're clearly watching it for a reason.
Exactly.
Now I got to get to come up with conspiracy theories on why you keep watching 2001.
Yes, exactly.
So
exactly.
I'll have to pay close attention to you.
Yes. The Shining, again, still great. Looked great on the cinema screen. People brought some younger people there. Not like little kids, but in like the 9 to 12 range. And I mean, I guess by today's standards, The Shining isn't like really gory or anything like that, but it sticks with you.
Yeah.
The Shining's like deep down psychological horror that it'll like trigger things.
If they made it to the third act, then yes, they'll be scarred in some way.
I know. I mean, just the bath scene in and of itself changes you. Especially as a man. I don't know if women have the same experience, but as a man, that scene it never ceases to like horrify me. And if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But The Shining, and now that I think about it, I don't remember how old I was when I saw it the first time, but I think my brother wanted to rent it, and my mom rented it for us. And I don't know if she'd seen it or not. Maybe she had, but they were pretty loose about what movies they let us watch for the most part, and she let us watch it. I don't know. I couldn't have been older than 14. I couldn't have been older than that. So
I'd say that's about as old as I was, maybe a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But I didn't really make an impact until I watched it later on,
Yeah.
when I was in my later teens and early 20s, I think. So, but you're right. Yeah, there's some things in there that maybe as a kid you just too naive to even notice.
Yeah.
But it does get sort of, I feel like as you live longer, Kubrick's movies have more to say to you.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like, so it's like 10 years from now, it's like I'm just going to be like sitting over there in the corner like, why did I watch it again?
Yeah. The other thing I noticed about it, I didn't realize how like it gets really fast paced at a certain point. It happens a lot earlier than I expected because once they get past like move-in day, it like jumps and it really jumps. And then all of a sudden it's like it jumps like 5 months or like a month ahead. And then it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
And then it becomes minute by minute,
And then it even like – and he shows you like what day it is. And then one of them is just like Tuesday and it's just Jack Nicholson staring out a window for 20 seconds and then boom, Sunday. It's like what?
Yeah.
So anyways, The Shining. Excellent, as usual. A Place for Film is recorded at WFIU Studios in Bloomington, Indiana.